Oh, welcome back my gardening friends. Well, I'm putting the tomatoes in. These are the last two that I'm putting in at the moment. I came up here very early on the Sunday morning, the 19th of May, and got quite a bit done. And here are some of the things that I'm just going to help my tomatoes along with. So we've got bloodfish and bone, calcified seaweed, and hoof and horn, just to help these tomatoes along and not get to blossom end rot. And hopefully that'll be good, especially this is the homemade compost, as you can see. Why sow tomatoes? You might as well use your own compost, and all the tomato seedlings shoot and fire away. But I'm going to dig quite a deep hole, deeper than I actually need. Not just because the stem's quite long, because we've been out in this cold, so I can get some calcified seaweed right at the bottom. By the time it reaches that, it will hopefully have the energy it needs. So they're not looking brilliant at all. There's a couple of leaves come off. I probably took them off, but they should pick up. Every faith in it. But I did my homemade compost for my seedlings, and it hasn't really worked. I've had a few failures, and it's been a bit soggy. It's holding the moisture too much, perhaps a little bit more perlite, etc. But I think to bring my seedlings along, I will buy compost. Yes, I did say it. Buy compost. So we can bury that. We can bury that right up to there if we wanted. That's that one done. And that was the tomato money maker. My save seed, that's what we actually put it sliced up or just squeezed into a bucket. We left it all winter. It stayed in the polytunnel, and then we got it out a little bit closer to the time, maybe too early. I think a lot of stuff that I've done this time was far too early. But I can always look back on the videos. Again, it just doesn't look quite right. The roots aren't as white as I'd like them, but we have put them under a bit of pressure. These are the gigantimos. Again, my save seed, exactly the same way. I don't think I've actually bought any seed this time. It's all either been given to me, or it's all saved. So we'll have a little look now at the tomatoes, now they're all in. And then we'll get over to the hashtag sunflower challenge. So anybody that's followed me, that was the tomato volunteer. That's the first one that popped up in my grow room. And these are the shop bought supermarket ones. It's a cherry tomato. And this plum tomato came from somebody who discarded a tomato in one of the buckets that they sent me with the food waste in, so I saved that. We'll see if that actually comes as a plum or not. No guarantee with the tomatoes what we actually get. Trying to utilise all the space that we can. It's one of the grapevines that is going to be creeping up there, so we've got a couple of tomatoes there on the outside and some more there. As you can plainly see, the rocket first earlies are now out and lined up like soldiers. So that's the fertiliser one. That one, let's have a look, was the comfrey cake that was blended, and this one was just my homemade compost. The one with the fertilisers does the leaves look a lot darker. But we'll see what's actually in there when we we harvest them. And the giant potato there, and the Valentine's Day's potatoes. The hashtag sunflower challenge, so that's one of the giant singles, again save seed. None of the new seed, 12 months old, took. Again, that's another giant single, so that should just provide me with one single head. But as you know, last year it did throw side shoots, and we did get a multiple little ones as well, which look very nice. More sunflowers here. Now these are that one there is the bird seed, number 1 variety. We just went for the colour and the size of the seed. And the second one in was number 2, again from the bird's food. And so there's just a bit of a mixture there to see what we get, because there is a category for the most unusual sunflower. It'd be nice to get something different from the bird food. Cherry tomatoes, well hardened off, far too hardened off, but there's signs of life, should be okay. And we've got here some of the Harlequins. I thought that'd be quite nice, Harlequin sunflowers either side, and they're from Bill and Val, from 2 plots of heaven. Some of the flowers are coming out now and looking very nice. Again, the trailing tomatoes. These are the giant Swedes. Another week and these will be looking really nice. And more trailing tomatoes. So hopefully when we walk into the plot, the Harlequins, I think that's a Harlequin, yeah, that's another Harlequin there. This is a giant single. I thought that would be okay there because we've got the extra height for the support. I'll put my extra 8-foot cane on there when it starts growing, if needed. And another Harlequin there. And just to attract the bees, I've stuck one in the middle of the plot on the first row, another Harlequin. Moving on to plot 3. Again, the bird food, that's number 2. The giant single. I've tried to get that so the canes are nicely supported if they get too high. And again, that's a number 2. I've going to be putting the cucumbers next to the peas, and they're those heritage peas from Bill and Val, and the cucumbers will then cling on to that, just utilising space. And I've done exactly the same there. Now this is from out of the polytunnel. What happens is the fruits grow the other side of the wire, you can't get them, so no problem with that here now. I don't like throwing plants away, so another Harlequin. That will need plenty of food, which it will get. And because we've got another spare Harlequin, I'm going to put one there. So let's get that put into the ground. Very similar way to the others. I'm just not adding the calcified seaweed. Again, I think you can actually plant these a little deeper. It's a little dry. This ground's, this is where the footpath used to be, so as you can see it's quite hard. Unusual for my block that the footpaths are going to be. I just couldn't resist making sure I planted them all in. So all I've got to do now is tie this in before I forget. And in actual fact, we've got a little bit of string here. Always drop it just above some leaves. It won't slip down, but give it absolutely plenty of room, because these stems will get really big. Well, they do on the giant singles. I've never grown the Harlequins before, but they're doing absolutely brilliantly, and these are about the only ones that have done any good in my homemade compost, used as something to pop the chitted seeds into. So some good, some bad. Oops, daisy. So these are the sunflowers, Harlequins, Bill and Val from 2 Pots of Heaven. And please pay them a visit, and if you do, just say I sent you, and give them a good hello from me. And they comment on most of my videos, if not all. So you'll be able to just tap their faces and it'll take you straight to their channel. These labels may be a little bit off over the top to some people, but I do struggle in remembering things. So now there's no label there because none of my benchmasters have chitted. They've all gone rotten. So I might just chuck them in a pile under the wigwam. But hopefully now, as we go round, this will make it a lot easier for me, and maybe easier for yourselves as well. I'll give it another couple of weeks and I'll take the netting down. The netting's there to stop the pigeons walking in and removing all that lovely foliage. All the tops are out of the broad beans, and it won't be long before I get a harvest. The long beans and cobra beans are all back inside. It's still really cold in the mornings, and some of the leaves have just started to tinge off, so every night I've been bringing those in again. It's the 3rd sowing of radish. Still haven't got it right because the others are ready to harvest now, but these have really perked up. So I'll be taking a few leaves off those, and these are the ones that we've actually potted on from there. So these, because they are in decent compost and been in the shed. But look at that, there's already a good meal amongst that, and they're my spares. Look at them, live and learn, carrot in a bottle, doing better and better. The sweet candle carrots, they're all doing absolutely well now. I haven't planted these yet, I've only put them into their stations for now, just haven't had time. This cucumber, the long cucumber, the show cucumber, the longest, is still okay at the moment. That one is holding on, and some of these are looking very sad. But the nice big labels will help me, because I shall know exactly what they are now. So as soon as I get a little bit of time spare, must get these in. But they're the telepathy. These are the ones I sowed afterwards, so just sowing them in the greenhouse far too early. Yeah, I've even put a label in that one. That's where we transplanted one when we pulled it out. Now there's no thinking. Long beetroot, long parsnip, long carrot, and a long radish on the far side there. Not sure how they'll do this year, not too bothered. We'll live and learn with this one. That's for the longest carrot, or longest root veg at Malvern. So we're almost there now. We've got plants in between like we've just showed you, and I'm not sure because I've got all the peppers to bring back yet, but I'm going to leave those another week or two, maybe the bank holiday weekend. We will see how the weather is. But it's so cold in the morning, and it gets so muggy and hot during the day. And some of the comments on the previous video on hardening off, and I've watched one of Kelly's videos, and I didn't realise that even the sun can affect it. So thank you to everyone who told me about the sun can affect them as much as the cold. I didn't know that. Something else learned. We have germination on the long parsnips. Well, I say long, they're in the box. So we'll be selecting one of those, the best one at each station. And the carrots have also germinated really well. That one's just started to show. But I only planted 2 instead of 3, and you've got to say DT brown seeds are really good quality seeds, especially with the sweet candles. So you don't have to worry about chitting them. Weed as we go. Oh, I feel so much better now. So therapeutical, if that's such a word. Some of the insects are liking this as well. The little black beetles. Just helps, just leaving a few things to go to seed. It will benefit me because I should be saving those, and hopefully I won't have to buy any seeds to sow next year for the following year. I can't believe how well these flowers look now I've took the tops out. There's flowers absolutely everywhere. I've had to tie these up twice now. And Mr. Bumblebee or Mr. Bee are having such a whale of a time here. Pleased with those. In actual fact, I'm pleased with everything. Been a busy weekend. Hope you enjoyed the dawn chorus video on the comfrey. Love the early mornings. And with the drop of rain we've had, these are looking remarkably well considering what they looked like in the trays before I put them out. So happy gardening to you all, my friends. Thank you very much for all your comments. I learned so much, and I hope you'll learn something from my experiences and my little experiments. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now.